What's going on, guys? This is your boy Jordan. I know it's been a minute since I've done a deck profile. I apologize for that. I had a lot of stuff going on, but I wanted to do a deck profile on Voiceless, one of the decks I played at my recent OTS tournament Saturday. I got third place post August Banlist. I enjoy the deck so much. I'm doing a different engine with it. So we're going to go ahead and show you all my spice here. We're going to start with the main deck, of course. The main deck is 44 cards. It's a lot for a Voiceless voice deck, but once you see the cards that I'm running, you'll understand. So, of course, we'll start with the main. Still the standard 3 lows, never going to change. 2 Saphira instead of 3. I figured that Saphira can be bricky. I don't want to open up with 2, especially if someone was to Bestial or Call By or Ghost Bell it, then it kind of shuts off the turn. But trying out with 2 worked perfectly. She's also searchable in many different ways: Barrier, Blessing, Skull Guardian, and Magnemite. And one old man. It was a hit or miss if I wanted to take it out, because you never want to open this card. You want to open it off of Radiance. But when he comes up, it's just game. I'll search off of Saravis to stop an Inherent Summon. Super good here. 2 Skull Guardians standard here, and I'm running 2 Saravis. It was a back and forth with running 1 and 1 Odd Eyes. But Odd Eyes isn't as good as people think, especially if you're going against like a trap deck, or a deck that's not really running a lot of spells, like Gold Pride, for example. But Saravis is good. It stops targeting, and it could also stop an Inherent Summon if it's on the field. So that's why it's good. I brought it back to 2 here. Standard, 3 Barrier, 2 Prayer, 1 Blessing, 1 Radiance. Doesn't change. So pretty standard here. I'm only running 2 Diviners instead of 3, and still the Trias.
Why 2?
It can be bricky, and also if you open up with Diviner and with low, it just really depends what route. I'm afraid of what my opponent has. If they have an Ash or Veiler or an Imperm, and I don't open up with Saravis, and I go from here, then there goes my normal summon. So I wanted to have 2, and it works out. When I see it, I see it. If I don't, it's not at the end of the world. So I am doing the Nadir package with 1 Dogmatica Maximus and 3 Nadir Servants, because this engine gives me more ways to deal with my opponent's board, because this deck struggles breaking boards. It's all about negations. So this allows me to dump any monster in the grave. I don't use the extra deck anyways, so it's fine. I can go Gurua, whatever, but I'm doing the 3 Nadir, the Nadir Servant package. 1 Magnemite. It is search. It will search me Saphira or the 2 Saravis since they're dragons. Only 2 Prepeps. I don't run 3. I never would run 3 unless I run Pure. It's a brick if you open 2, but if your opponent doesn't have it, it's good. So hand traps is 15. So we have 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Imperm, and 3 Dominus Purge. It was a back and forth with Ghost Ogre. I wanted a main nib, but I feel like Ghost Ogre is still underslept. It can do so much. So I decided to run this route, plus it's a light. Nibiru's a light too. Dominus Purge, I've only saw a couple times. It's super, super good. It doesn't lock me into anything if I don't activate it from hand. So if I do Imperm, I can activate it and negate and destroy. If I pop Radiance, then activate this, I can negate and destroy. I never activate it from the hand, but those are, I run 15 instead of 12. And then 1 Tikaboo, 1 Callby. I main Tikaboo. It does come up, especially with my match against Tenpai going game 3. Set this, they activated Fenrir on res, activate Tikaboo, and they couldn't really do anything about Tikaboo, which hurts Tenpai because they can only control 1 dragon. I wanted to try Gozen match because I've seen some lists run Gozen, but unless I lock my opponent from, if I can find some way to use the light barrier statue against my opponents and then do that with Gozen, they can't really do much of anything. So, and then Callby is good for Callby. So that's 44 cards in the main. We'll go into the extra deck here. Relinquish Anima, never made it. Owl Mirage, never made it. I've always made the Dynamondos. It's so good, especially against Yubel, because Yubel cares about destruction. This bypasses it and shuffles it. I wanted to run it to 3, which I might actually, because I might take out IP for a 3rd, because Dynamondo is so good.
Now going back to the Dynamondo, what if the Yubel player has a field spell up?
I'm not... If I can get rid of their Yubels, I'm not worried about their field spell. It just shuffles it into the deck. They can search it, but once I get rid of that card, I try to shoot for game unless they hit me with Spirit. Then I'm just like, you know, if you got it, you got it. But I think the only time I go in the extra deck is just to play Dynamondo here. Other than that, I don't make anything else. I don't even make Light Charmer. Silhouette Rabbit I've made a couple times, and Underworld Goddess. So the reason behind Silhouette Rabbit I will explain in the side deck, but it gets me a card because this deck struggles against Droplet and Dark Ruler. But I will explain in the side deck. But I've made this like twice, never made Underworld Goddess. Because I've always got Nibiru'd, especially against Tenpai, because they Nibiru'd me the entire 3 games. Chaos Angel I've only made once. So for my Nadir Servant targets, 1 Gurua always came up, double Entis always came up, Arclight always came up, Malong came up, and Omega came up twice. Only reason why I'm running Omega is to kind of recycle, since Voiceless Voice likes to recycle, likes to recycle cards back into your deck. So is the only reason why I run it. Malong just targets returns. Arclight will add me a spell or ritual monster. Target pop, draw a card. So for the side deck, 3 Ghost Spell for my Fiendsmith matchup, or any graveyard reliant decks like possibly Runic maybe, or
yeah, the Ghost Spell also hit the field spell of Runic Fountain.
Yeah, Unchained. Any graveyard deck Ghost Spell comes in clutch. Chimera, Branded, anything, that's why I run it. 3 Nibiru's. I've never seen it. Even if I open it into my opening hand, my opponent will probably know that I side Nib and they kind of bypass it. But it's a good light target for prayers. If I don't have low, Skull Guardian will just search low, activate, so on and so forth. 3 Cosmic Cyclones for back row. 2 Dark Rulers. So I run 3 Simo Archfiends. Personally, I think Simo Archfiends is better than D-Barrier, because if your opponent is playing different types of extra deck monsters and you call the one type, they might just like, okay, cool, and just bypass it. Where Simo Archfiends, does everything. and you can only control one. So even if like my opponent is, let's say for example, like Sprites or Gold Pride or Tempai, whatever, they can only play one. So if they play, they play Transcendent Dragon, they can only control that. They can't Synchro Summon anymore after that. They can only control that. If Sprites play Gigantic Sprite, they can't go Toad, they can't go Mosquito, they can't go anything else because they can only control the one. It's super good. And then Apophis is the reason why I run Silhouette Rabbit, because Apophis is the only card that can stop Dark Ruler and Forbidden Droplet with this deck, only if you control a continuous trap. And Silhouette Rabbit will allow you to pop a spell or trap card your opponent controls if it sees that you special summon this as a monster. I have questions on the chat that I'm in. Can you do multiple? The answer is no, only if you have more than one continuous trap. So if I activate this and I have Tikaboo or Radiance on the board, then I can pop technically 2 or 3, or I can stop 2 or 3. But I can stop 1. It's super searchable off of Rabbit. So that is my Voiceless Voice deck profile. It might change in the future. I want to run more Bystials because of this current format right here. We're about to enter the Age of Water after Rage of the Abyss. So Bystials won't do as much, but I honestly still feel like Branded will still be around. And certain matchups will still be around, but I don't think I would change anything in this list at all. I think this is a solid deck. I might trim it down a little bit, maybe main or side Tikaboo and Callby maybe, or cut 3 hand traps maybe, but to kind of lower the deck to 40 and I can see more stuff. But I think I'm satisfied with the list. Got 3rd place. I'm happy about it out of
17.
About 17, yeah.
And 4 people dropped.
Yeah, 4 people did drop, so it went up to 4 rounds instead of 5, but my record was 3-1. My only loss was the cameraman. So, but other than that, people just kind of slept on Voiceless Voice. It's still one of the good decks. It's not the best deck, but it's still tier 1. So, but thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to make more videos in the future if I have time. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. So